Welcome to the Industrial Talk Podcast with Scott MacKenzie. Scott is a passionate industry professional dedicated to transferring cutting-edge, industry-focused innovations and trends while highlighting the men and women who keep the world moving. So put on your hard hat, grab your work boots, and let's go.
Well, hello, industrial professionals, and thank you very much for joining Industrial Talk. We are back. We are back in Command Central, Industrial Talk Command Central. We had a great time in Vegas. Hexagon Live, looking at all of the incredible solutions, the innovations, talking to the people who are passionate about your success. That's what Hexagon Live, that's what happened at that event. It was fantastic. That's what this particular conference, we're going to be talking about ALI, all of the stuff that's happening within ALI, which is the Asset Lifecycle Intelligence platform from Hexagon. But before we get going with that conversation, we've got some stuff to promote. Of course, we have an ebook. Yeah, it's an ebook. I have 3,000 of these conversations of talking to industrial leaders, and I try to distill it down to solutions and strategies, and it's a work in progress. It's going to continue to evolve, just like technology. I mean, as I went to Hexagon Live, it was drinking from a fire hose. They have some incredible stuff. And the same thing impacts you as an industrial professional. You have all of this at your fingertips. But you need to understand the pain, the strategies around solving those pain points, and then, of course, whatever technology available. Ebook, go out to Industrial Talk. It is there. Free download. Free download. Then another little workbook that we have, it's saying, hey, I have a solution. You have a solution right there. That's a solution, the hand. And then you have the customer's challenges. Are they aligned? This workbook takes you through that sort of journey to make sure that your solution, your messaging, your marketing, your sales approach aligns with your customer's pains so that you can solve their challenges and make sure that they're a success. It's all out there. I got hair in my mouth. But that's what we're all about. So get the ebook, Industrial Talk. Get the workbook, industrialtalk.com, and make it all happen. Okay, on to the conversation. Here I am, Las Vegas, Nevada, Hexagon Live, and it was fantastic. On the floor, the zone, walking around, looking at the solutions, talking to these leaders about why it's important and why it will impact you from a business perspective in a positive way. Positive. It's all positive. No negative, all positive. That's what that's all about. So this particular conversation takes us through some of the components associated with ALI and APM, Asset Performance Management. Yeah, APM. All of the stuff that's all connected to help you have greater insights into your assets and into your business and into being able to be proactive as opposed to reactive in how you manage your assets. So here's Kyle. On Live 2025, we're here on the zone, and it's been a fabulous event. This is the last day. I hate to date it, but it is the last day, and it's a sad day for me because we've been wandering the floor, looking at all this incredible technology, all this innovation. But you know what the best part about this? The people. The people make the innovation absolutely work, and they're focused on your success. Speaking of which, Kyle is here, ALI, and then I can't keep up with it. Just I can't keep up with it. You take us through what's going on. We've got this massive floor. It's got a lot of stuff going on, and he's going to take us through all of ALI and everything else in between. How you doing?
All right, great.
You having a good show?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Glad it's the last day, though. It's been a long week, but it happened.
Aren't you a little sort of let down?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, it's been a great week.
Yeah, it has been a great week. And it's so fun because the reality is that the innovation is here, and what I see Hexagon do is that they lead. They're the tip of that sword, leading that innovation, really focused on the success of clients.
Yep.
This is not just puffy stuff and sounds great and looks good on a piece of paper. No, this is real stuff. We've been kicking the tires.
Putting it into action, right? Putting it into action.
Take us through. Give
All
us
right.
a little.
Good. Well, we're here in the interactive art gallery, and we've got an art piece here. Cool. And this is really to represent visibility, and it's allowing folks to understand the visibility value driver. And the artwork is really a means for us to be able to allow our customers here to understand what we do with respect to visibility. Right. And it means something different to everyone, right? You look at this piece of art and you see something, someone else looks at this piece of art, sees something totally different. Right. And that represents all of our solutions, right? What do you need? How can we best serve you? And that allows them to lead them to the pod where we can demonstrate visibility in all of our solutions, okay? We're going to start here in productivity, though, in that particular pod, and give you a demonstration or an explanation of our smart 3D design solution and how we integrate with our SDX2 product as well, to allow you to manage the data, contextualize it, share it, and keep it always evergreen.
Yeah, okay? Evergreen. I like that. Let's go.
Okay.
Look at this.
All right. Just gave a little bit of an intro to Smart 3D and SDX2. And
let's grab this. Is he going to be running with it?
He is.
Not you.
Yep.
You run with it. Just hold it. It'd be fine. He's going to, now go ahead. Talk to us.
Yes. So here we are looking at the integration with Smart 3D and SDX2, which is basically a part of the whole integration 2.0 from design tool perspective. So in here, what happens is that you've got your schematics, which is the PNIDs.
PNIDs, got it.
And your S3D model.
Right.
It has data synchronization, which is continuous data synchronization. What we talk about,
right,
is that the data comes in from PNID and S3D into SDX2. So that's the first part where we get the data, we contextualize it, and then the correlation of the data.
Let me ask you real quick. When I say PNIDs, I always see this big stack of paper. Are you taking that big stack of paper and digitizing it and making it, or are we just sort of going?
No, the digitizing part is basically the smart PNID.
There you go. I just want to make sure it's got to get that way.
Yes.
And you can use legacy or existing PNIDs that are always there on the rack that are pretty static, quite frankly. Nobody goes back and just sort of updates the PNIDs. They don't.
Yeah,
just FYI.
You got to put them into the smart PNID first.
There you go. Absolutely.
You have that, then that's your digital data,
right?
Which has a database in the backend, and that information can get continuously synchronized to SDX2, which is the digital platform, the single pane of glass.
Yep.
So you can see your PNIDs, you can see your 3D model, and once you have that information in SDX2, then you can create some other tasks like internal actions. Like for example, this piece of heat exchanger, which is old, it has to be replaced.
Yeah.
The manufacturer is no longer supplying that equipment. So now you create that internal action saying that replace this equipment because it's aged and I need a new manufacturer for this. Right? So this information goes, then this information is an internal action, which is taken up by the designers. And within S3D, when they get into S3D, they will replace that equipment with the new equipment as a digital model, right? And then your 3D model and your PNID is correlated with each other. So that correlation breaks because now you're replacing the equipment. So you got to recorrelate that.
Yep.
And then the data synchronization is going to happen in the backend where it's going to push that information back to SDX2. So that's where the 5 C's come into the picture, and the correlation part is one of the 5 C's, which is the design solution.
Why is this important? What's the business rationale? I can see it. I want you to explain a little bit about it.
Yes. So the business rationale behind that is that most of the times the design tools are used from an engineering perspective, but now with SDX2 and S3D continuous data synchronization information coming in, it can be also used in maintenance and operations aspect for sustaining.
Beautiful. Now you've got other organizations, other departments, other individuals able to access sort of that record of the right record.
Yes. And also whatever tasks that come from maintenance and operations aspect, which you can have as an info map based on the tag for the equipments within SDX2.
Yeah.
So now you've got your PNIDs, you've got your 3D model, you've got different reports like PDF documents, Excel sheets coming in, the maintenance records come in, the operational records come in, and all of them are at one central location, which is the SDX2, which is the single pane of glass. So now you get to see everything on one tablet. Now you're not looking for information which is siloed, but it's all at one central location.
But I'm an existing business.
Yes.
I want to get to there, and I want that.
Right.
So you're going to take me through that journey and get me to the point where I have that common record that everybody knows that's accurate.
Right.
And right.
Right. Yes. So for that purpose, there are two parts here, right? The first part is the infrastructure.
Yep.
Which means that you've got your design solutions. Now, let's assume that design solutions are on-prem, which most of the customers are. They're also going to smart cloud, but again, assuming that they are on-prem. So that's where the connection has to be. Initially, you have to build the connection to SDX2 so that the synchronization happens. And it's all done through web APIs. So it's a secure way of sending the information because, it's got a client secret and client ID. So it kind of goes in a secure way.
Right.
Yeah. And then once it gets in there, then you can leverage that data, utilize that data from multiple perspectives. So an SDX2 is 100% SaaS only. It's a multi-tenant solution. And the data is stored in Kubernetes cluster as nodes, and it's containerized.
Oh.
So it's very easy to scale up and scale down based on the architecture, the way it is built.
How do people get a hold of you? That's a great explanation. If somebody says, I want to talk to you, how do they get a hold of you? Are you on LinkedIn?
Yes. So I'm on LinkedIn. My name is Rahul Shinde. I'm the senior solutions consultant at Hexagon for 3D modeling fabrication cloud solutions based in Houston, Texas. And my email ID is rahul.shinde@hexagon.com.
Well, thank you very much. That's an excellent explanation. I'm going to hand it back over to Kyle. Kyle,
All right.
thank you.
Yep. Thanks, Rahul. Appreciate that. We're going to take a walk over to the other side, and we're going to look at our digital asset solutions.
Everybody has the same shoes. You didn't tell me that.
I thought that's why you brought them.
No. Jeez.
Let's take a walk over.
Oh, yeah, let's go.
We'll go talk about some of our digital asset solutions.
I like it.
They're going to support our operations, maintenance, and cybersecurity.
I like this place. This is so spacious, and I like the fake wood because it looks like wood,
but it feels great.
It feels wonderful.
That's important on day 3.
It is. Absolutely. Okay, what do we got here?
Let's see what we got here. Let's see who's not with a customer. Here's a great one.
Oh, everybody's favorite topic.
Hexagon EAM. Any chance you could give us a 60-second run through of what Hexagon EAM is and does and the value to our customers?
Absolutely.
And that's enterprise asset management, right? Did I say that? Get that right?
That's correct.
All right. But why is it under compliance?
Well, we are a highly configurable system. So compliance can be many things.
That nobody wants to talk about.
Absolutely. But compliance could span around, government compliance. It could be industry compliance.
Yep.
It could be, standards like ISO standards. We could also look at compliance from the security standpoint, right? Compliance with different clouds. Right. So we're able to configure the system. Some of our implementation accelerators include the ability to be compliant with our ISO standards, good maintenance practices for pharmaceutical industry. So there's many ways of being able to approach compliance. And in this case, we're actually looking at being able to stay compliant with our permits. So we're looking at a permit to work dashboard. We can see things like what are the types of permits that we have, basically being able to manage all of the work, the activities that's going on within this facility. But EAM, really all about asset management, work that goes around managing those assets. How can we help to, support preventive maintenance schedules, be able to draw down risk from those assets, the risk of failure, those costs that are associated to that. So that's really what EAM is about. An asset could be anything. It could be, anything that we can touch.
Hey, we were talking to a company over here, and they're taking people as assets and just treating in a nice way, but in a nice, that they are assets and they have, requirements and they're managing it from that person. Sure. So yeah, you're right. Everything,
anything could be.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. So we work in a lot of different industries. So for some, an asset could be a building.
Yeah.
For others, when we're looking at oil and gas, you've got thousands, even millions of pumps. Those could be assets. So, an asset is really just like compliance could be really whatever you need it to be.
Let me ask you from a configuration perspective. I'm old school. I've deployed a number of systems. It's always like off the shelf. You take this system off the shelf. Don't, adjust it or just take it off the shelf. Configurable, very flexible in that sense.
That's what really separates us from our competitors. Now we could get into the form and function of EAM and how that, but really what our basis is being able to have a system that can configure based off of what your processes are. Everybody's different. Everybody has different work processes.
Yeah.
Everybody's unique. So being able to have a system that can adapt to what your workflows are, what those specific assets that you're trying to manage could be, and make it easy for somebody to actually set it up without having to code. So it's a low code, no code approach to making it fit for what your unique business needs are. So it's,
where do you see it going? You like what's going to be the next cool thing? Because you guys are just, I don't know. I feel like every time I have a conversation about your platforms, I feel like I'm drinking from a fire hose because you guys are right in it and you're always just, hey, how about, and you just never stop that energy of innovation.
Mm-hmm.
But for me as just this, let's say a manufacturer, it's like drinking from a fire hose.
Sure is.
What's the next sort of salvo that you can see?
What we're seeing now is you see this across the world, global AI. I see Alex, our AI assistant, being the wave of the future. Currently, Alex is just looking at EAM documentation. It's going to help you navigate the system and create maybe some configuration around the system. But we're eventually, within the next year or so, enable it to actually look at your data. So now we don't have to utilize things like dashboards and KPIs. Now you can use your own personal assistant to understand what are my top problem assets. What is this truly going to be costing me? What is the cost going to be in the future?
Right.
So utilizing an assistant like that's something that we see is truly going to be the future.
That is so cool.
Absolutely.
Now you get the tennis shoes too. Everybody's got
Yes,
the
sir.
tennis shoes. I'm going to be. Wow, that's next. Well, that's fantastic. How do people get a hold of you, Ryan?
Absolutely. You can contact me. It's ryan.mcodrum@hexagon.com.
Are you out on LinkedIn?
I sure am.
Okay, and you're active. I mean, at least when somebody pings you, you're going to say,
I'll
"Hey,
respond.
great." Okay.
Absolutely, I am active.
Well, fantastic. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Back to Kyle. Here you go. What's
Thanks,
next,
Ryan.
my friend?
Okay, so you learned about Hexagon EAM. Now I want to talk about J5 operations management software, Hexagon EAM, and Hexagon APM, asset performance management, how we integrate all that. It's just a lot of letters.
It is. It is.
We're going to step right over
All right.
here. All right.
Oh, efficiency.
You are up. I've given a little intro of the three solutions.
All right.
We just learned about Hexagon EAM,
Yep.
Hexagon ALIX integration, our AI agent, and we want to hear about the other products that we integrate with EAM and how we can go to the next level.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Kyle.
Well, thanks. It's a pleasure meeting you.
Good to meet you too. So,
Right. Talk to us.
Yeah, so my name's Matt Peak. I'm a solution consultant here at Hexagon for EAM and APM, and we're going to talk about how we can bring all of those two solutions together.
Hold it. You have enterprise asset management.
Yes.
And then APM is
our
asset performance management.
correct.
Come on. Yeah, but come on. Is there some overlap with the terminology?
No,
Maybe it's just...
Yeah. Okay.
it is. That's how we'd like to talk about how APM is not there to replace EAM. It's there to enhance our capabilities around asset health, asset management across their entire life cycle.
Sure.
And we're going to start to bring that in with J5 as well. And a key to this is making sure that our users are experts in the solutions that give them the tools that they need to do their work on a daily basis without having to be experts in all of them. So in the scenario that we've got going here, an operator in J5 is conducting their operator rounds on a mobile device in the same way that they've been doing the entire time they've been using J5. As part of that, they're collecting data points within that round that APM is going to gather as part of an out-of-the-box connection. All right, so that data is going to be sent automatically and be made part of what we call a pattern protection in APM.
Okay.
This pattern protection is looking at all of these data points that have been collected and is actually looking for those patterns using a machine learning model that we train, that anybody can train without any coding whatsoever. It's all click and drag.
So I'm a technician. I'm out in the field. I'm
Yep.
running my routines, whatever it might be. I'm
Mhm.
looking at that motor. I'm taking specific data off of it, whatever the tools that I have, right?
Correct.
But I also have devices that are on there pulling data as well.
Absolutely. I'm glad you brought that up.
I did.
APM is also going to be able to bring in sensor data from historians. We have out-of-the-box connectors for OPC-UA and Aviva Pi. So we can bring that information as well and make that part of protections. So while our operators are in J5 doing their regular duties there, APM is going to bring that in, as well as that sensor data from those other solutions, and monitor the work that we're doing in EAM in what we call activity protections. Those are inspections, that's calibration, PMs,
Right.
all those plans. That's all going to be made part of a single solution. If APM notices a trend, maybe we miss one of those inspections by a given amount, we get to define what that looks like for our specific use case. Those of us that are living in APM on a regular basis are reliability engineers, those higher level operations managers.
Right.
We can either by hand or automatically create work from APM, send it to EAM, where our maintenance teams that are used to and familiar with all of the robust tools that EAM provides, right? All the planning, the scheduling, the statuses, the mobile capabilities, they're going to execute work in there, and we can reflect that work back in APM as well.
Okay, so what I'm hearing you say is that I've got a data tsunami. I've got information tsunami. It is absolutely, you've got everything covered. What is that machine that sort of helps me as a technician is to be proactive and insightful and know what to do, because I'm not going to just sort of look at all this data coming in.
Yeah.
I need something to sit there and say, here, look at this.
Yes.
And because that's why.
Yep.
Make it simple for me.
Right. So one of the ways that we're simplifying not just that process, but also shortening the time to value is with, well, we have our asset twin library in APM. So that's going to come out of the box with 202 twins based on ISO 55000 standards. That's going to include failure modes and different protections that we can put in place and use to monitor those pieces of equipment. So we know that on, say, a pump, for example, we need to do a vibration analysis or have an alignment of the rotor, right? Those are going to be known failure modes. We're going to have protections in place that come out of the box that we can use to get us started that much faster. So rather than having to build this all out for every single thing, start to finish every single time, we can lean on that asset library, that twin library, to get us started. But again, what's critical is all of these points of data are being captured across vast different solutions. We don't have to be experts in all of them. Those J5 users that rely on that for those tools, they can still be experts in just that. They don't have to learn APM or EAM. Everybody can use the tools that they need that give them the most value, but there are no silos. They all share information.
But you have a system of record that is sort of making sure that all of that information has continuity between all of the other systems, and it's not some sort of reality over here and another reality over here, and it's all consistent.
EAM can still act as that single source of truth about our asset history and our asset lifecycle.
I like it. Matt, fantastic.
Much appreciated.
Excellent. You don't have the same tennis shoes as everybody else. Why?
No, I don't. I wish I knew. I was looking forward to
John see. But I'm all in.
There we go.
Me too.
Yeah. Where to, Cal?
I think we're gonna cut it there. We've given you a lot of letters. We've killed a lot of time, and we might just stop right there. But we've got many more solutions we could go through with you. But I think we've hit a couple of the highlights for you.
Excellent.
All right.
How do people get a hold of you, Kyle?
Kyle.Wessells@hexagon.com. Let's see.
But you're out on LinkedIn, because I can always create a little link in my website.
Yep, I'm on LinkedIn,
and then it makes it easy for me to say, hey, just go out to Industrial Talk and connect with Kyle, because he needs to be connected with, because he knows what he's doing. That's Kyle. Thank you again, my friend.
Thanks,
Thank
Scott.
you for your time.
Appreciate it. Great day.
We're going to have another great conversation shortly, so stay tuned.
You're listening to the Industrial Talk Podcast Network. Yeah, what did I tell you? Walking around,
chirping with all these leaders. It was a fantastic event. Hexagon Live, put that on your calendar. Look into those solutions. You cannot let that day go by. You gotta at least do your research because they're pretty cool stuff. And it's just getting better. It's getting more focused. It is definitely in line with solving today's challenges, and it just keeps on going. Oh, it was fantastic. All right, couple of action items. Get the ebook, go out to industrialtalk.com. Get the workbook, go out to industrialtalk.com. Connect with me, go out to industrialtalk.com. Let's have a conversation. Let's see how we can amplify your message each and every day. Let's do some webinars. Let's do some podcasts. Let's just do a lot of stuff to help you succeed. Right? There it is. Be bold. Be brave. Dare greatly. Hang out with Team Hexagon. Change the world. We're going to have another great conversation shortly, so stay tuned.